now that we've had the chance to cover the affidavit that was released, and oddly enough, there's still a lot of you people watching the cat video like, the night when they found the blah, blah, blah's body. We get it. It's not my fault y'all too stupid to watch the updated videos. That's not my problem. We covered the whole affidavit on a live stream. But I'm going to get off of that for a second. Anyways, now that we've covered the affidavit when it comes to the Idaho 4 murder case, I've decided to do a video. I've jotted down 10 questions that I have following the release of the affidavit. Because I'm going to be honest, a lot of things here sounds crazy, and I get it. There's going to be a lot of you that leave Dylan alone. Fuck you. I ain't about to leave Dylan alone because the shit don't make no sense and it sounds retarded. And I'm questioning who that is right there all smooched up with her in the hotel lobby. I'm just kind of curious who that is because that don't look like her man. You can decide who you think it looks like. But anyway, we're about to get into that in just a second, guys. I'm thejbgunner. This is Crime Time. Let's get into it. Let's go.
Bring it back.
Now, the truth of this is we're not going to get a whole lot of facts and information that's released anytime soon. There's a gag order on the case. There may be a little bit that trickles out here and there, but the reality of this is most of the videos involving this case until the trial begins is going to be highly speculative. And it's going to be videos such as this right here. Now, this isn't speculative. These are just questions. We all went over that the affidavit when it comes to the arrest warrant. We went through all of that already here when it comes to Bryan Kohberger. So what we're going to do today is ask 10 questions. As we read it, there's a lot of questions that we had that I thought I wanted to make a shorter video for instead of doing it on a live stream, and that's what we'll do here. Guys, before we get started, though, I'm going to say first and foremost, thank you to everybody that supports the channel. The reality of this is I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do if it wasn't for you, the Gun Squad, whether you support on, used to support on Cash App. My Cash App is down for right now. I'll get a new one. Don't worry about that. A little bit of fuckery. I trusted some people I shouldn't have trusted. It is what it is. Everything y'all sent me on there before, trust me, it got in my pocket, no big deal. But whether it's PayPal, Venmo, whatever, Gun Squad, I love you. I couldn't do it without you. And if you too find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below in the description box. In fact, I'll even pin it in the top comment. That way, if you guys want to support the channel, if you like what I do, you can do it that way. All right, now let's go ahead and get into this because I'm going to talk about the 10 questions that I have after reading the affidavit. And if you have not seen the reading of the affidavit, you can go to the live streams. If you click on the live channel, you'll see we did a live stream where we read the whole affidavit. We also did a fun live stream where we watched his first court appearance and all of that. And we will cover the entire trial if it's televised here on this channel, regardless. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this because I'm going to start at number 10. Number 10. And this is something that I'd love you guys to answer some of these questions, and maybe you guys know some shit I don't know, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you're logically looking at it from a perspective I'm not looking at. But number 10, in the affidavit, it said that there was a van's shoe print, and we'll get to the van and thing like that later because that's a whole nother question in itself. Is did Bryan Kohberger own van shoes? But there was a van's shoe print right there by the room of Dylan, who I obviously saw the killer. The killer didn't kill her. We'll look into that a little bit later too. But what I would like to do right now is take you back to the house. This is something I think we need to look at. And so I'm going to pull this up right here. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. So right now we're taking a look at King Road. Now what we're going to do is we're going to enter the residence. The minute you enter the residence here, I believe this is where the coat rack is. This is the front door right here, I believe. Yeah, this is the front door. As soon as you come in, you can go upstairs to the next floor. We got the shower and toilet right there. Let me make sure you guys are able to see this. Let me go ahead and bring this down a little bit. There's a shower and the toilet right here. We have the utility room right up here. Let's see where here. Let's just go here. This is the hallway. And then here we got bedroom 1A. I believe here in bedroom 1A, what we are looking at here is I believe this is one of the girls. This is not Dylan, but the other one. The other one that, oddly enough, nobody has heard from. We haven't heard any. The entire affidavit didn't even mention Bethany. Not really, right? Didn't really even mention Bethany. So we're going to leave the first floor because the reality of this is he wasn't on the first floor. I didn't see him anywhere near the first floor. So we're going to go on up to floor number 2. Now, when you get up here to floor number 2, we got the living room, and that's what we're going to see right here. And then we're going to go this way, and we're going to see, it looks like they did some updating here. So we got the bathroom here, bedroom 2, and bedroom 1. I'm going to make sure we are on the second floor. Yes, we are. So this goes to the other rooms. Now, when you go to the other rooms right here, that right here is where you'll see the sliding door where the killer came in. So we have the kitchen. This is where the killer came in. But if you take a look right here, there's a closet right here. Here's another bedroom. This bedroom right here, 2A, this is where Dylan was at. So that would make sense why the shoe print would be right here, because he obviously went up the stairs. But remember, she said she saw him walking towards her on his way out. So here's what my theory is. He went upstairs first. I believe wholeheartedly he went upstairs first, because if Dylan saw him walking towards her, that would mean he was walking from this angle here. Now, what's out here? Obviously the living room, and then when you go over here, this is the connecting passageway, and then you have Zaina Kronoto's room. This is Zaina Kronoto's room where she was with Ethan. Now, let me make sure there's nothing. This is Zaina Kronoto's room right here. Now, we're going to get to a lot of that here in just a second, but we'll get to everything else. But let's just keep going. So, obviously, he killed Zaina, came back out here towards the living room, went back in this direction towards the other rooms, and then out this door. For Dylan to have saw him walking towards her on his way out the door. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Here's where the shoe print was, right here. Here's where the shoe print was, right here. So, if you look at it, it looks like he was walking from this way, out this, and then out the door. She came out here. For her to come out here, she was probably, she was standing right here, probably very, very close to the shoe print. Because if he was coming down the stairs, she wouldn't have seen him walking towards her. Simple logic says that if he's walking towards her, he had to have come from the other area. He had to have come from this other area. Then she believes that he walked right out the sliding doors. So that means he had to have went upstairs and killed Maddie and Kaylee first. Then came down and killed Ethan and Zaina. Now, there's some shit here we're going to also ask as these questions go on, because obviously we got the DoorDash situation. We have all of these different questions that we're going to ask, but ultimately, the shoe print being right there, which direction did he come from? That would be the first question I wanted to know from the affidavit. Now, that I look at the house, you clearly see there's no path of him walking towards her if she was standing still in her room, because that would put him in the kitchen. She said he walked towards her, past her, and then walked out the sliding glass door. Or that's what she thought, right? So there's no question when I look at this map, the direction that he had to have been coming from when he walked past her was this way. And so I think that kind of solves some of the why the shoe print was there, but it also kind of, in my opinion, it shows you who was killed first, who was killed last. Now, this is really interesting, right? Because at 4 a.m., they delivered the DoorDash, right? This is when they say that the DoorDash was delivered. At 4:17, Zaina was still on TikTok. Now remember, 4:20 is when they said the car passed. So my question is, here's my next question. If the food was ordered at 4 o'clock, Delivered at 4 o'clock, which is what it said in the affidavit. And remember, they said that Bryan's car was seen at 4 o'clock. So if Bryan's car was seen at 4 o'clock, DoorDash was delivered at 4 o'clock. At 4:12, what was it? At 4:12, oh shit, what was it at 4:12? At 4:12, son of a bitch, 4:12 was her last login on TikTok. 4:17, 4:17 was the last login on TikTok. 4:12, give me just a second. All right, I got completely goofed up. 4:12 was the last login on TikTok. 4:17, there was the thud and the dogs barking that they heard on the camera outside. Now, this kind of fucks everything up, right? DoorDash delivered at 4 o'clock. 4:12 was the last login of TikTok. 4:17, they heard the thud and the dog barking and so right outside Cronoto's room. Now, here's the weird thing about this. How is it possible that, and we'll ask this question here in just a second, that the outside camera 50 feet away was able to get all of this, but Dylan wasn't? But look, I'm just kind of looking at the time frame here. This happened relatively quick. The car was seen at 4 o'clock. The car was seen at 4:20. So that means 4 o'clock to 4:20. However, with this car arriving at 4 o'clock, the food also being delivered at 4 o'clock, my question that I'm going to ask you and that I want everybody to think about is, why in the fuck was the food delivered at 4 o'clock? And they say that she didn't eat it. They literally said that you can see the image of the bag from DoorDash on the counter. My question is, 4 o'clock, she's got the food. The bag is still in there in the kitchen, Zaina. 4:12, she's on TikTok somewhere. I guess my question with this is how could this all be possible with the killer in the house? 4:17, on camera, you can hear the dog barking, screams, and a loud thud. But yet Dylan couldn't hear it. 4:20, he's left. So think about how quick and swift these murders would have had to been. Because my question here is that the thud and the dog barking at 4:17, the dog was upstairs. The dog was upstairs. How does this fit? How does this time frame work? So you're telling me 4 o'clock, he waited exactly for the DoorDash driver to leave, and then 4:12, she's still on TikTok. At 4:12, she's still on TikTok. So what happened between 4 a.m. and 4:12? Did she eat the food? Did she not? I want you to think, who orders food and just sits it on the counter and then goes in the room and watches TikTok? That's all I'm saying. Maybe she wasn't in the room. Maybe she was. And then 4:17, all of that was heard outside. It all can come together. It all can match. But the bag was shown pretty much looking still full. That's just me. All right. Now, next question I want to ask is, why did Bryan go back at 9:30 a.m.? Now, obviously, the obvious answer to that is to see kind of the scene, what's going on. The door was open at 8:30, 9 o'clock. They didn't call 911. The front door was open, according to neighbors, at 8:30, 9 o'clock. What did Bryan do? Did he go back in the house? Did he realize he had left his knife sheath? What did he do? And why wasn't anyone else awake? And why was the woman that saw the killer, not awake? What happened? What kind of drugs was she on? What was the case? So he went back at 9:30. The door, according to the neighbors, was left open. They said they saw it at 8:30. So what happened between 8:30 and 9:30? I'm just curious, in regards to this situation. Did he go back in the house at any point in time during this? And if he was smart enough to turn off his phone the day before, why was he not smart enough to turn it off then? Okay, let's move on. Does Bryan's DNA match? Now, we know that there's involvement with the father. This is just kind of a side question. They have him in custody now. clearly and surely they can get his DNA. Does it match? Are those results back yet? You would think they would be, right? Maybe not, but I think that's a question going forward. Because there's no way in hell we're going to trial with the DNA just being ancestral. There's no way in hell they're doing it. So I think that, in my opinion, I want to see them say, yeah, we got Bryan's DNA and it matches 99.9, whatever the fuck. That's all I want. I want to see that. Because currently they got DNA off essentially a button that could have been transferred at any point in time. Because remember, this has got to go to court. And they say it matches a possible relative of the parent of the dad, right? I want to see, do they have Bryan's DNA now? Does that DNA match? And obviously the question is how did the DNA get on the damn knife thing, and how and why was it left there? We'll get to that a little bit more, because I'm going to ask later a little bit more another question in regards to that. So I think that matters. And also, did Bryan Kohberger own vans? Did he own vans at all? Is there any evidence that he owned vans? Because if they're saying the footprint was potentially vans, is there any evidence at all whatsoever? Any witnesses, anybody coming out saying, yeah, that motherfucker owns vans? And you may sit there and say that Vans are something that everybody wears. That's not true. I've never seen a pair of Vans in my entire life. I don't even know what they are. I've never in my entire 42 years seen a pair of Vans. It's never happened. I don't know what they look like. I don't even know where you would buy them. I'm just being honest. Now let's move on. To my next question. And listen, I know some of y'all probably wear them and you're mad and you're triggered because people don't know what the fuck your lame-ass clothes is. So I'm sorry, man. I don't know. I've never seen them. Did he see the DoorDash driver? I think this question needs to be asked. Because why on earth, if you plan on killing people, would you, not necessarily knowing if the DoorDash driver saw you, because think about it, it's 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning in Moscow, Idaho. How many potential vehicles can you really see at that point in time in that exact location? It makes sense that Bryan Kohberger would have saw the DoorDash guy deliver the food. Because remember, the affidavit said that he had circled a couple of times. That he was caught, so he would circled a couple of times. Why on earth would Bryan go into the door? Let's say if this dude is ordering food at 4 o'clock, you don't know how many people's asleep and how many people's not. I know that if I'm going to kill people and I see people pulling up and dropping off food and shit, I don't know how many people's in there. I don't know how many people I'm going to have to kill at this point in time. And I wouldn't go in if I knew they were awake eating DoorDash and shit. Why did he? Did he not see the DoorDash guy? Did the DoorDash guy not see him? Seems a little odd, right? Maybe the DoorDash guy did see him. But ultimately, it makes no sense to me why Bryan himself, I mean, he's got to be the most stupid criminal on the planet. Why he would go into this place knowing that they were awake, eating DoorDash and shit. Next thing, why would he bring the sheath? Why would he bring this? It's just a serious question. And see, there's a lot of you guys that are saying, well, okay, it connects to the belt and that's all good, but is it possible it was a clip-on one? Well, that would be even dumber. But I'm a serious question. If you're going in to kill somebody, why would you wouldn't you come in with the knife just in case you're confronted with an altercation at the door? Let this sink in. He just saw food delivered. He knows somebody's awake. So my question in regards to this is, if you know somebody's awake, why wouldn't you just leave the sheath in the car? Why wouldn't you just grab the fucking knife? Because you don't need anything else, right? Not really. Why wouldn't you just grab the knife and go in? Why would you even clip the motherfucker on you, or however the fuck it was on you? Like, because think about it, who's gonna unbuckle it? Who's gonna unbutton it and pull it out? Because what if you're confronted from the minute you walk in? It makes absolutely no fucking sense at all to bring, especially if it wasn't attached to your belt, if it wasn't already like looped through your belt. Why would you even risk that? And I mean, he's dumb, that's obvious, but it just makes no sense. I know that if I'm about to go stab some motherfuckers, just like if I was going to shoot somebody, I wouldn't holster the fucking gun. I'm walking in, gun, everything cocked and loaded and ready, just like with the bitches. Just saying, I ain't the one you want to visit. Just let you know, it's cocked and ready, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyways, that's gotta be a question that you have to ask, because why would someone even do this? And then also, why would you take the phone? This is the next question you have to ask. And I would like answers to this. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. They said that his phone pinged off all these different things, right? He was smart enough to turn it off from 3 to 5. So if you already know, hey, the phone could get me in trouble, why would you take it at all? Unless you had to call somebody. Because think about this. He's smart enough to know I have to airplane my phone. I have to turn it off between 3 and 5. Unless you were waiting for like a phone call, or unless you had to call someone, why would you personally take your phone when you already are aware it's the phone that could get you caught? And in the end, right now, as he faces trial, it very much so is the phone data that is a heavy piece of evidence in this trial, in this case. It makes no sense. It feels to me like he's taking shit he didn't need to take. When we're talking about the knife sheath, when we're talking about the phone, the phone was off. Why even take it? It makes no sense to me at all, unless he was calling someone else, like someone that he let survive. That's all I'm saying. It's speculation, but it's possible. Now, another question is why did the camera 50 yards away from Zaina's room outside, why was that camera able to pick up the sound of the dog barking? Of a loud thud. Think about it. Your body drops, that's a loud thud. Why was the camera able to pick that up? But Dylan in the other room was unable to hear it. There's been cameras that's picked up screams. Now we got the thud. Now we got the dog barking. And yet Dylan's not able to hear this? But she said it herself. She had already 3 times went out there. She heard the dog playing, what she thought was a dog playing with Kaylee, around 4 o'clock, by the way. Then she heard Kaylee's voice say, "Someone's here." Around the same time, that's when she opened the door again. Didn't see anybody. The food was there. TikTok was there. Was what's her name out there eating the TikTok? Like I'm confused by all of this. And then the third time she opened the door, and then she heard crying, and then the third time she opened the door, he's walking towards her, which is on his way out, which we already covered that. So my point of this is, my question here is, why was she obviously was able to hear shit. How come the camera picked up the thud, the dog barking, and all of this, but she didn't? She was closer. I showed you the proximity of the rooms. Why didn't she hear this? This leads me to my next question. Why did Bryan, or whoever's the killer, not kill Dylan? He walked clearly right past her. When we take a look at the map, and we've showed it before, when we take a look at the map, he clearly walked extremely close to her. Think about it. Think about this. Think about how small and thin this step is. Let's look again. This is where Dylan's room is. For him to be walking towards her, he had to have been coming from this way. Now look down and see how small that step is. And look where his footprint was. He had to have walked literally right by her. She said she was frozen in fear for a long time. How long? Why? And that'll lead to the next question, which will be the number one. But right here, clearly, he clearly was in close proximity to her. He clearly would be aware of his surroundings. He just did this. He's trying to get away. Why would he not kill Dylan? Right there. In that very spot. Because there's no room there. There is absolutely no room there. That is the smallest little step on the planet. Look at the close proximity to Dylan, right there. And then he's got to slide through here, right here, and go out here. That's all I'm saying. You think Dylan was just in her room peeking out? Nah, because listen, she had no reason to think it was anything else. She came out the door. You think that all 3 times she just peeked out the door? No, I don't believe so. And let me ask you this. She was frozen in fear, she says, scared to death. She had heard all of this crying and all of this. It'll be okay. The number one question on this list, the top 10 questions I have, is why did Dylan wait 6 hours? They say she ran out the house. Steve Gonsalves says that she ran out the house with the other roommate and she passed out. Okay? I don't know if I like this answer. And why did she call friends first? Because it sounds to me like this was a brutal murder. So much so, remember, she ran out and passed out. But why did she call friends first? Why did she do that? And why did she wait 6 hours? What was she getting rid of? Was she on acid? Was she on ecstasy? Did she thought it was a delusion or a trip that the dude was walking towards her? Why did not only he not kill her, but then why did she wait 6 hours to do anything? She went back to bed. Because remember, he came back at 9:30. Door was open. No issues. When he came back at 9:30, did they talk? Did he go inside? Is that why the footprint was there? Just kind of curious. But it makes absolutely no sense. And you people that keep telling me she was frozen in fear, not for 6 hours, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And for you people that's like, leave her alone, shut the fuck up. Because until you can answer these questions for me, you have to shut the fuck up. Nobody's frozen in fear for 6 hours. Now, if you want to say she was high on something and she didn't know what she was seeing, all right. I can buy that. But remember, Dylan and Bethany were there. They were there, right? They weren't at the corner bar getting fucked up. They seemed to have been there because they were able to tell you when Zayna and Ethan came home. That means Dylan was there first. Dylan and Bethany was there first. And how do we know this? Because Bethany was so fucking knocked out, she didn't hear shit. Bethany, you don't see her really at all in the whole affidavit. You got to ask why that is. But why wait 6 hours? And why did Bryan not kill Dylan? And who the fuck is that? Who is that in the hotel? Who is that? I'm just curious. So yes, I will continue to question what will happen. And yes, I will continue to question Dylan because it makes absolutely no sense that she was just frozen in fear for 6 hours. No sense at all. Let me know what your comments are in the comment section. Let me know some of the answers to these questions if you guys got them. I get it. There's going to be a lot of you like, Dylan was just, she was just scared. Maybe, but remember the dog was barking. The dog was barking. Do you think the dog stopped barking? You don't think at some point in time she would have been like, hey, what's going on with this goddamn dog? Huh? Or maybe I'm just, inquisitive. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know any of the answers to any of the questions that you got here. Guys, if you like what I do here and you want to support the channel, by all means, feel free to hit the links down below. Remember, Cash App is down right now. It will be back soon. Feel free to use any of them other methods if you want to support the channel. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. If you guys haven't joined the Discord yet, feel free to join the Discord. You guys are all fun people. I love hanging out with you guys. I will be back with another video soon, and we will be live a little bit later, more than likely. See you guys next time. Let me know your answers to these questions. Peace out.